Hello everyone and welcome to the Manor Stage here at MagicCon Las Vegas for the first time this weekend. It is so fantastic to see all of your beautiful, shining, smiling faces ready to get stuck into the preview panel for today. Who's excited to see some new Magic cards? We have a jam-packed schedule of stuff to talk about here in the preview panel today. We are going to be talking about Edge of Eternities mainly, and you're going to be amongst the first in the world to see some of the marquee cards coming out in this Space Fantasy set. Can't wait to show you some of that. We've got all sorts of other stuff to talk about as well, but without further ado, my friends, would you please join me in welcoming to the stage our four panelists that will be coming up here to talk about all this sort of stuff here as part of our preview panel. We've got Jadine, we've got Mike, we've got Sarah and Roy, and they are standing by. They're going to be coming and joining us up on the stage. Here they come, so please put your hands together and welcome our panelists here for the preview panel. Okie dokes, good to see you here, good to be with you on stage. Why don't we go down the line and we can introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about, all of you work for Wizards, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at Wizards and what we're going to be talking about today. We'll start with you, Jadine.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jadine. I am the play design lead for Magic game design at Wizards, which means mostly I spend a lot of time thinking about the final numbers and the final effects we're going to put on all the cards, and very excited to talk to you about Edge of Eternities today. Over to you, Mike.
Hello, MagicCon Vegas. I'm Mike Turian, executive producer for Magic the Gathering. I get to work as a product lead on so many sets, including Edge of Eternities. Really excited to talk about that today, as well as other sets like The Lord of the Rings, Duskmourn, and so many more.
Also a Magic Hall of Famer as well. He keeps that one quiet. Sarah.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sarah Wassel. I'm a senior art director in the Magic Studio. I work on the collectability team, so we commission art and design cool frames and really just try to expand the world of what Magic looks like and make it as fun for all of you as possible.
And I'm Roy Graham. I'm the story lead for Magic. I work with our authors to bring Magic stories to life, to put characters in all these situations. Yeah, I got to work with Edge of Eternities on something really special.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's great to have our panel assembled up here to talk about, well, so much today, not just Edge of Eternities, but we are starting with the Edge of Eternities here to talk about what's coming up in this set, both from a structural, mechanical, gameplay standpoint, but also, Roy, as we open things up with you, talking about its setting, right? And I wonder if you could open things up for us here, Roy, by talking about what is, when we talk about the Edge of Eternities, what is the Edge?
Sure. So the Edge is the analogy we've been using that when Mike and I talk about it is as an orange. So the Magic multiverse, as you know it, is the flesh of the orange, the planes are the seeds of the orange, and at its center, that's familiar Magic territory. The Edge is the skin of the orange. It is the farthest thing on the other side of the blind eternities, the edge of known creation, and that is where our story takes place and where this set takes place.
So this is somewhat an uncharted region for us in both a story sense, but also in terms of the setting that it is, right? This is a space fantasy set. It obviously takes cues from sci-fi and other world-building aspects that we'd be familiar with from that. So can you tell us a little bit about what that was like, Roy, bringing that to Magic and the challenges involved with that setting being brought to life in this card game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing that I really want to make clear, you know, we're talking about the orange, the orange of the multiverse and all of that. The Edge is more than just another Magic plane, right? It's this is your introduction. This set is going to be your introduction to a whole new setting for Magic. You know, our science fantasy setting, and the Edge itself is vast, you know? It's, think like an entire galaxy, a universe even. Though Edge of Eternities, this set in particular, takes place in one recently incorporated corner of the Edge, the Tezzeret system, which is a collection of planets, each one aligned with like one of the primary colors of magic, along with, at its center, the star Tezzeret, which had been going supernova until the Monoliths, who will meet soon with their dark sciences, partially collapsed it into a magical black hole called a supervoid. So, yeah, pretty exciting. And in that space, in the Edge, in the Tezzeret system, you'll find all the hallmarks of like a science fantasy story. You'll find planets, of course, spaceships, aliens, cosmic mysteries, space pirates, all of that. And the two great powers that have come to battle over the fate of the system, the Monoliths, those black hole worshippers we're going to talk about at some point, and the Solar Knights of the Sunstar Free Company, with heroes and villains and scoundrels somewhere in between, all playing out their own stories underneath it.
So obviously there's a lot going on with this. We've got a vast interstellar-like setting for us to explore here. Mike, I want to bring you in at this point and talk about some of the aspects of the Edge of Eternities in terms of what is both familiar and what is new in Edge of Eternities. What are some of the themes that we're going to see emerge, both new and familiar, with this set?
Yeah, so the Edge, it's a space fantasy setting, right? And we have these mighty interstellar powers that are competing and clashing over Tezzeret, the supervoid that Roy was talking about. So, and then in terms of the familiar, right? These systems, they generate mana and aether, and so lands are something that are going to be a really popular theme and something that we really tapped into a lot of.
We'll explore some of the mechanical themes of the set as obviously we begin to show off actual cards themselves. But as we continue our exploration of the creative side of this set, and in particular the way that this new region, this new vast expanse was brought to life, Sarah, I want to ask you about what it was like to bring the Edge of Eternities to life on cards, the challenges that were involved, the high concepts of science fiction, of science fantasy. How was that addressed by you and your team when trying to, again, bring this to life on these cards?
Yeah, I mean, one of the great things about this set is that, because it's such new territory for Magic, so many artists and so many people in our studio were just like super psyched to work on this. This was like years in development and years in coming, and we were all so excited about it. We had so many artists reaching out saying, hey, I've heard that you're doing this, can I get in on it? Because our artists that do amazing landscapes and land art, they've never really had the chance to paint things like this. And with this set, scale was a really, really important thing. Like generally in a Magic set, if you have like a giant or a mountain, we do things called scale birds, which are like little guys that like show you like, oh, okay, oh my gosh, this thing is really huge. So in this set, we got to do scale spaceships.
Because it's a slightly larger scale required than what we'd get away with just birds. Yeah. One of the things as well I noticed when looking at some of the art and the world building that came out of this is there's also it taps into stuff that we as an audience are familiar with when it comes to this sort of setting, science fiction, the role that has played in popular media for decades as well. That's something that's been harnessed as well in a lot of the art.
Yeah, that's really true. Like science fantasy, science fiction has this really interesting thing of, it always feels like it's far in our future. And so, but to create those visuals and to make those stories about that, we still have to like germinate that from seeds of what's happening now and things that are familiar, because if it's completely alien, it's really hard for people to emotionally connect to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's always this really fun, like retro future, vintage future that kind of gets combined in it, and it's such a fun space for everybody to play in.
There are some really cool retro futuristic card styles and treatments we're going to show you as we get to these cards. But Still talking about the creative side of it, Roy, I want to come back to you and talk to you about this idea of scale, right? This, again, we've used this word a fair bit already. It's vast. It's a vast set. It's a vast setting. What was some of the things that the story building team, the world building team did to nonetheless make this setting and set personal and make it accessible to us through characters? Or how did you address the issues of scale?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is what I was talking about, where like the Edge itself is a vast setting. It's a whole new, you know, like it's practically a sub world for Magic to tell stories in, a sub genre for us. But this set is pretty focused. It's in one specific star system, and even within that, you know, all sci-fi, no matter how high-minded the ideas is. All great sci-fi is really grounded in the characters that populate it.
Yeah.
And for this story, you're gonna meet some really fantastic new characters. I can't wait for people to see them, meet them, read about them, and you know, perhaps one more familiar face as well.
There is one familiar face that I know many people will be very, very excited to see, and we'll be meeting them a little bit later on. But let's begin to talk about the mechanics of this set, right? We'll move away from the creative side for a little bit here to talk about some of the ways, Mike, that what we've talked about here were harnessed in order to get this set across from a mechanical standpoint. What were the ways in which these themes that we've talked about, the vastness of space, the setting, the way that sci-fi stories are told, how is that reflected in the way that the cards themselves were actually made?
Yeah, so one thing that's so key to the Edge of Eternities is its connection to land, right? So upcoming here, we're going to take a look at the basic lands in the set, right? Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, aren't they?
So here we have the borderless celestial basic lands, and Mike, lands are a really, really big part of this set.
Yeah, you know, in upcoming, we're going to take a look at ways that we made lands matter, and of course, right, you're in outer space. Outer space lends itself to planets, and you want this sense of discovery,
exploration,
right? And exploration. And so lands in Magic really let us capture that, right? And you get beautiful landscapes like we're seeing right here.
Yeah, and we can talk more about these in detail with you, Sarah, here, because I want to know what it was like creating cards like these. We've seen full art basics. They've been a hallmark of Magic for quite a while. We've seen borderless cards as well. Borderless, full art basics. Again, this is attempting to capture that sense of scale.
Yeah, totally. And also, you know, we like literally thought about the cards and the way they generally look, and how can we make them feel more expansive than they have in previous sets. And you can see from these celestial basic lands that there's like nothing going on around the edge of the card. There's no black border, there's no nothing. So we're really hoping that gives you that like subconscious little goose about like even more about how expansive this set is and how these frontiers of exploration are so open and so vast.
Yeah, reflected again in that borderless, open, vast, expansive treatment here that we've got with the borderless celestial basic lands. But these aren't the only, of course, these aren't the only special treatments. No, we've got plenty to show you here, and we're going to move on now, Mike, to the Stellar Sites bonus sheet here and talk about one card in particular. These are going to be cards that are available in play and collector boosters. And Mike, we have a pretty powerful land coming back here in a way that people have never seen it before. My friends, feast your eyes upon the latest iteration of Mutavault, which, Mike, you can tell us about here. This is the borderless Stellar side card. Tell us about this card and how it came together.
Yeah, so you know, so excited to bring Mutavault and all of these Stellar Sites bonus sheet cards, you know, back again. Say, hey, you know, one of my favorite things is when we go and explore a new place, a new plane, tapping into the science fantasy feel, and you can really see that here with Mutavault. And as we reveal more of the bonus sheet cards, they're so powerful, and of course lands just come out and they have their own style and are, you know, incredibly beautiful. And to me personally, you know, I was the game design lead when we created Mutavault, and so this card has a personal touch to me as well.
Yeah, it's personally resonant for you as well, and coming back in this all new way. Sarah, tell us about this this Borderless Stellarsites card. The way that this card has been represented, it's been shown off in a way that we don't like. We've got the name of the card towards the bottom of the text box. Towards the bottom of the card in the text box rather than at the top. Again, expansive, vast. Talk to us about this card.
Yeah, we just wanted to take everything off the top of the card and like shift it down. And of course, the lands make it a little easier because we didn't need to put the mana symbols on the top. But the frame on the sides kind of like harkens to like a star chart or a map that someone would use, which is really interesting because that kind of like transparent map is actually not, while we're used to it now in movies and TV shows, that's been kind of in movies and in the popular consciousness since like the 40s. So it's, again, retro future, retro future. But each of these cards also, we have that like cool special font that's in the title of the card, which like hopefully like gives a little like lots of extra flavor. And then each card has a little spaceship that breaks the frame. So
the scale spaceship.
Yeah, the scale spaceships. Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of other versions of this Mutavault to show you here. I'm very, very excited to be unveiling to you. We talked about that retro-futuristic look that some of these cards are going to have. I believe this one here is taken from the bonus sheet. Is that right?
Yeah. So the one
that we're about to show here.
Well, the one we're looking at right now. Now it's advanced. This one that we're looking at right now, you'll find it's a collector booster exclusive. So it's a second version of Mutavault, and you can find it in the collector boosters. Yeah.
And Sarah, this Galaxy Foil Borderless Stellarcite card, this has that sort of retro-futuristic travel poster kind of style to it.
Yeah, so this has taken the inspiration from a style of advertising that came about when mass tourism started to become a thing, and it was commissioned. There were ads commissioned by like railway companies or airline companies a little bit later, and they were meant to be really kind of glamorous and aspirational, and to really like give people this sense of this trip that they could take that would be full of wonder and full of excitement and something different and new. And it was really fun to make a whole set of cards that look like this as well. So then we have like the cinematic, like beautifully painted pieces, and then we have these really interesting graphic, like kind of airbrushy, like soft color, aspirational pieces as well.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of the other lands or other cards that are on this set turn out, especially with styles like these. But, my friends, now as we move on to our next set of preview cards, all the spikes in the room are going to be very, very excited as a certain type of land comes back into Standard. Many of you will have played with and against these lands for years and years and years. They're quite old, they're quite powerful, and they are coming back, or 5 of them at least, are coming back in Edge of Eternities. Mike, we are bringing back the Shocklands.
Yes.
Y'all love taking 2 damage, huh?
Yes, the 5 of the Shocklands are going to be found in Edge of Eternities. Here we're looking at Breeding Pool, and once again, going to outer space. You know, we knew the time was right to bring these back. And one of the great things is we've made Standard a 3-year format, and so really, you know, Shocklands are incredibly powerful and really, in so many ways, you know, change and influence the environment. And so we were really excited to bring Shocklands back to Standard again as well.
Well, look, I'm so excited to see them. These are cards that I know are near and dear to many, many people's hearts, and they're cards that are taking the form that you've never ever seen before. Obviously, over the years, we've seen Shocklands represented in all sorts of different ways, through all sorts of different lenses, with different frames, with different arts. But Sarah, to talk about the Shocklands being brought into this setting, I want to talk to you about some of the challenges that would have been involved. These are cards that are so closely, so iconically associated with Ravnica, right? With a specific set, with a specific Magic setting. What was it like taking these cards that are so closely associated with Ravnica and essentially bringing them to outer space?
I mean, it's the best kind of challenge, really. You know, like, we're all such fans of the game and the game's history, and the chance to take something and kind of spin it into a new way, but like maintain aspects of the original version, it's the best kind of difficult thing
Yes.
to tackle.
Yeah, and these cards obviously are bound to see a huge amount of play in Standard, in older formats as well. It's terrific to see them back again, and I'm very, very excited for people to get their hands on them. But we've talked about the fact that this is a set where lands will matter. Jadine, I want to bring you in here. You've been very quiet so far. Sorry about that, mate. But as we bring you in now to talk about some of the mechanical themes of the set, can you tell us a little bit more about this lands matter theme that's going to run through Edge of Eternities?
Yeah, absolutely. So my colleagues here have been walking us through, and we can go ahead and look at the next card here. My colleagues have been walking us through this all the big picture themes of the set, lands matter, sense of scale. And now we're going to get a look at what that means mechanically for the set. So here on Harmonious Grove Strider, we kind of see a little of both. As you're collecting those cards and playing the Stellar Sight bonus sheet cards and getting them onto the battlefield, this guy's going to get powered up and get to really large power and toughness. Large numbers on the cards was something we looked to represent that sense of scale. You're going to be playing with bigger creatures than ever in Edge of Eternities, and it's really cool.
I can imagine we're going to see, yes, again, that scale represented in cards through big numbers, lands matter, another theme that's going to be important, which we'll come back to some of these themes as well. But as we begin to explore some of the characters in this set, Roy, we're going to introduce ourselves to some of the new characters that will be appearing in Edge of Eternities before very much longer. But tell us a little bit about these characters and the story setting that they're going to be in. Sure,
yeah, I'm happy to. So the story for Edge of Eternities, you guys all know Magic has a story, right? So Magic's had like a continuous long-running story for a long time. The Edge of Eternities story is like probably the most standalone story I've worked on in my time at Magic. We really wanted to let this setting stand on its own world building and characters and potential. And it was also important for us that, like, if maybe you don't know what's going on in the story at large with Jace and Loot and whoever, you can still come into this story and really enjoy it and not like need to know anything going in. Especially like maybe you're a sci-fi fan first and foremost, and you've just been waiting for us to do a story like this. Now's the time. This is one of the best times to get involved in Magic story that I've seen. I'm also really excited to announce the author for this story is none other than Seth Dickinson, who I know from the fantastic Trader Baru Cormorant novels, but has also done a lot of writing in an IP that maybe has some relevance to what we're talking about today and where we're going with the Edge of Eternities set. It is, we've been talking about scale the whole time. It's certainly the biggest story I've worked on at Magic. It has 11 main episodes, which I guarantee if you read one, you're going to want to read all of them. It has 5 side stories. It, of course, is going to have the Planeswalker's Guide. And we're also taking the story a little farther than we have in the past. This is the first time that we will be getting it professionally voice recorded by a voice actor. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's by Jesse Inokalia.
But I was going to say, Roy, who is it that is you've got to record the story here, because another very exciting thing to announce.
Yes, professional voice actor Jesse Inokalia recorded all 11 main episodes, all 5 side stories. I'm sure his voice was tired by the other end of that. But yeah, it's just so exciting. Of course, obviously, the Magic Story podcast will be covering it as well, with your hosts, Harless Snyder, Natalie Crater, and then I think they might have some guest on here and there to blab.
Whoever they can find, yeah.
Are you doing it?
Oh, you're doing
maybe.
it. Okay. Okay.
And if you're more interested in hearing stories about the design of the set itself, how the cards got made, make sure to tune in to Daily MTG, because they're going to have some really cool programming about that. And one more thing before I know we got to move on, but as of the end of this panel, the first episode of the Edge of Eternity story will be live. So go listen to the dulcet tones of Jesse Inokalia. Make sure you start listening to that first episode while you're in line at Art of Magic to get your card signed, all that.
Perfect. There you go. Fantastic. Well, there's an insight into the story, again, from a creative standpoint. Let's now get into talking about the story and the way that it's represented on actual Magic cards. Again, I know people out there are going to want to get their eyes on some of these cards here. Tell us about some of the new faces, some of the new people we're going to meet in Edge of Eternities, right?
Yeah. So we talked about all these like big powers that have come to Tezzeret in the sort of strange time in this sector's history. The great faiths that are at war over the future of the super void at its center. The people we start with in the story are not actually involved in all that. We focus at the beginning of the story on two scoundrels who have had a run of pretty bad luck looking for their cat, and a busted up ship in dire need of new parts.
A classic.
So let's meet our first main character for the story and one of our next preview cards.
Yep, we can bring up here Sammy, Ship's Engineer. This is one of our one of the main characters who's going to be appearing in this Edge of Eternities story here. Jadine, tell us about this card, what it's about, what it's representing, and what it does.
Yeah, Sammy here is pulling double duty for us. They're both one of our key story protagonists and also our red-white signpost for Limited. So the red-white theme in the set is going to be caring about controlling tapped creatures. You'll have to hold on to that for just a little bit longer. We'll get there. But you're going to want to do that, and Sammy will pay you off with some robots.
Sammy pulling double duty from a mechanical standpoint as well.
Yeah,
not
and
only
also narratively pulling double duty, interestingly, because Sammy is on the Surima, their ship. Sammy is the captain and also the engineer and also the chief con artist for
triple
the
duty.
crew.
They've got a lot going on. All right. Well, we'll see more of these themes emerge as well. But again, the red-white signpost uncommon there, as you say, creating tokens, tapping stuff. So that's what Sammy's all about here. We've got another new face for us to meet, also associated with Sammy, one of our characters in this story. It's Tannic, Memorial Ensign. And Jadine, I understand this is another uncommon signpost uncommon.
Yeah, Tannic here is our red-green signpost. Landfall is here. Landfall appears a few times in the set. Hear about lands, kind of the red-green theme is all about setting up your mana, picking up lands, doing some damage to your opponents. Pretty classic red-green stuff.
Yep, and those three beautiful words that everyone loves to hear. Draw a card. Oh, baby, let's go.
I got that type line too, the Kavu, right?
Well, tell us. I was going to ask. Tell us about this story.
Yeah,
this card from a story standpoint.
Well, so the thing I really want to call out here. So first of all, Tannic is a Kav. The type line, of course, says Kavu. That is the magic term. But out in the Edge, they're called Kav. Mm-hmm. So the exciting thing to me about this card is when we meet Tannic, he is the pilot of the Surima, Sammy's first mate, and also like best friend. But you know, this is a character with a whole history and a past in this setting before we ever meet him. And this is actually a part of his life from before the story even starts. In the past, when he was a member of the Kav Memorial Navy, scouting out the vaults, floating vaults of his people, where they hid their artifacts before the planet of Kavaron started to crumble. And we're doing this with a couple other legends in the set, a couple other of the story main characters, just depicting them on multiple cards to show them at sort of different moments on their journey, maybe different moments of color alignment or mechanical space that they're occupying.
I want to come back to something you said there, because you mentioned that Sammy and Tannic are zipping around the Edge of Eternities on the
Surima.
The Surima.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything more about that? Maybe we want to get a look at the Surima here, a brand new type of card which is debuting in Edge of Eternities. Jadine, tell us about spacecraft.
Yeah, a lot to take in here on the Surima. I'm going to start with the station mechanic. We knew from kind of the beginning of working on Edge of Eternities that we were going to need to represent spaceships. We were going to need to represent a way to travel in space, or it wouldn't be much of a space set. So pretty quickly we realized we wanted spacecraft to be something new and not just use the vehicle mechanic that we see kind of pretty often in Magic sets. We wanted something new that could represent these vehicles and spacecraft with more power that could get you from planet to planet. So you can think of this as a bit of an evolution on the vehicle mechanic. Station works pretty similarly to crew. They both look at the power of your creatures and are using them to turn on the vehicle or the spacecraft. The difference here is that spacecraft is a permanent upgrade. You have a quest and you're going to pay in your creature's power to turn it online. The Sarima has a threshold of 7 to become a creature. If you have a 4-power and a 3-power creature, you can tap them both right now. You can tap one this turn and one next turn. Either way, you'll get to 7, and the Sarima will be online for the rest of the game. The Sarima itself is a perfect ship for the protagonist. It's going to enter the battlefield, search out Sammy, search out Tanook, or maybe your favorite legend that you want to have pilot the Sarima for this game. You're going to use that creature to power this up, and then once you're there, your cast of characters is going to enjoy some plot armor.
So I want to ask a couple of mechanical questions about this. So there are obviously some similarities to vehicles in the sense that you're tapping creatures to power up this card, but once you've stationed this card to this one specifically to 7, but whatever that number is, it remains active in that way.
You're done.
You're done.
Unless
that's
it somehow loses a counter, which is very rare. This is a creature until your opponent destroys it.
Well, this is my next question. It says that you put charge counters on this. What if you've got another way to put charge counters? Does it have to be through tapping these creatures?
Oh no, if you find more ways to put charge counters on, it just looks for having 7 charge counters.
So maybe we'll find some other ways to be putting counters on these spacecraft. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Mike, something very big, something very important to talk about here. This is a pretty big announcement actually here. So buckle up for this one because Mike is about to share a rules update that is coming along with the debut of cards like the Sarima, a legendary artifact here, this spacecraft. Mike, what can you tell us about this rules update that is coming, that will be affecting legendary spacecraft, legendary vehicles?
Yeah, so for Commander players, I'm sure, are there a few Commander players out in the audience? Yeah.
Just a few?
Just,
all right.
Just a couple.
Well, they'll be very interested to learn about what you're about to tell them.
Right. So both with legendary spacecraft that we're introducing here with Edge of Eternities and for legendary vehicles, they are now eligible to be your commander when you're playing Commander. Yeah.
So, with the debut of these cards in Edge of Eternities, you will be able to play at long last a Seeker's Chariot as your commander. We've waited so long,
yes.
Mike, and you finally let us do it.
Right, yeah, your cat tokens will be unleashed. Yeah, and we worked with the Commander Rules committees here, and there was just something that the group really liked about, hey, these legendary, now creatures, vehicles, spacecraft, hey, they all have power toughness boxes, right? And so to unify it, your magic card with that power toughness box, let's let you build some new commander decks.
I think people have stopped listening because they're all Googling legendary vehicle, the jackdaw, excellent, fantastic, I can't wait. Well, speaking of legends, that's very exciting news. I know there'll be people out there who will immediately be brewing up new commander decks as a result of this update, but another very exciting piece of news when it comes to one particular legend here. We've teased the fact that there is a certain familiar face coming back in Edge of Eternities. Haven't heard from him for a while, and maybe this is why he's been out in the far reaches of the multiverse here, because coming back in Edge of Eternities in a way, in a fashion, Roy, that we have never seen this fella before. Please welcome to this preview panel, Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. Roy, without giving too much away when it comes to the story, what can you tell us about Tezzeret appearing in Edge of Eternities?
Well, our friends Sammy and Tanook start the story on their way to retrieve a mysterious artifact from a remote colony in the Tezzeret system. And they're not really the type that are ambitious enough on their own to go after something like that. So they may or may not be working for somebody. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, we'll see. We know Tezzeret's got a lot of irons and a lot of different fires. We know he's a crafty fella. But this is Tezzeret, Jadine. like we've never seen him before.
Absolutely. Tezzeret is here as a colorless Planeswalker card, a brand new color identity for Tezzeret. And his card is all about artifacts. Artifact matters is another one of the big themes of Edge of Eternities that we haven't touched on very much yet, but it's kind of the science half of science fantasy is really represented by artifacts, and Tezzeret is all about it. The artifacts you play will give him more loyalty, and then he's going to use his abilities to boost your artifacts and help you find new ones. And
again, appearing in a, mechanically speaking, appearing in a way we haven't seen him before as a colorless Planeswalker, but Sarah, also appearing in iterations artistically, creatively, that we haven't seen Tezzeret. We've got another treatment to show off here of what Tezzeret looks like. This is an example of the Borderless Triumphant cards here.
Yeah.
Sarah, talk to us about this treatment and how it came together.
Yeah, this is a really fun series of cards. Here's Tezzeret, painted by Magali Villeneuve, who, this is her first time painting Tezzeret. She was really excited to depict this character. She's such an incredible artist that graces Magic cards with her work. And this whole series, we used these round graphic flat shapes in the background, which is really fun for the set, because it could be a planet, or it could be a sun, or it could be some kind of star. And there's like a, your little scale spaceship. But the whole series are these moments of like kind of pause and triumph when someone's exploring a new place. A lot of them are like explorers standing on a mountaintop. It's really like, compared to the scale of all the spaceships flying around and fighting in space, these like focus on characters and focus on like, putting yourself in this story and in this game and feeling like you're the one looking out over this expanse and about to discover something exciting.
Well, keep an eye out for these Borderless Triumphant cards, because there'll be more of them in the set. It's not just Tezzeret, obviously, so that's something to keep your eye on here. But right now, I want to move on to our next card here. Each set does have a headliner card, and we're going to show you now the one from Edge of Eternities. It's a huge card in every aspect of the word here. Roy, tell us about this card as we meet for the first time Tezzeret, the Super Void.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I was talking about this a little bit earlier on in the panel. The whole set, the planets, the characters, the conflict of Edge of Eternities, all either figuratively or, in some cases, literally orbits Tezzeret. Tezzeret is the super void at the center of this star system. It has been collapsed into this sort of half-dead, almost undead state by the dark sciences of the monoists. Oh man, the art is so cool here too. You can see that like sort of eerie halo it's giving off that you can see in a lot of the art for the set too, in the background or like in the sky or behind, various escapades and heroes and villains. It's just so cool.
So let's talk about, JD, this card from a mechanical standpoint as well. Here we can see it's a card that rewards you for your creatures dying, but then also will ultimately bring one back bigger, better, stronger than ever before. What were some of the things that went into designing this card, marrying that gameplay flavor with actual mechanical, the way that it was expressed mechanically?
Yeah, so Tezzeret was probably my favorite card to work on in the entire set, because it is top-down black hole. And a black hole is just one of those things that everybody learns about in elementary school and is just kind of in the back of our heads as something really scary and capturing our imagination, or at least mine, for a very long time. So getting the opportunity to represent that in a Magic card was really fun. We settled as the most important element to be captured that you get sucked into a black hole, that it destroys, and that there's this kind of fascinating question at the center of it. What happens once everything is sucked into the black hole and there's nothing else left? And for us, our answer was something comes back out.
Is this something that's reflected in the setting of the... Well, that's actually, I did want to mention that I've talked a lot about them, the monoists, gravity manipulators, black hole worshippers. They actually believe that at the center of every black hole dwells their messianic figure, who they call the immortal faller. And if you have the correct instruments, you can actually observe him gradually making his way towards the center of the black hole. What happens when he arrives at the center is a closely guarded secret in the
not
monastic
anymore.
orders. But
He gets +2. He gets 2 +2.
yeah, right. He gets
plus two counters.
counters.
Yeah,
That's probably it.
We've solved that. Yeah, it's fantastic. We've got other aspects, other versions, other treatments of this card to show off here. Sarah, walk us through some of the different treatments that this headline act, this main marquee card from the set, received.
Yeah, another one of the treatments that we did for it is a Japan showcase. Yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. The way the text is treated on this card, the way the border's treated, the foil that it's printed on is all really exciting, really kinetic, has kind of like a different art style to it. We love making these cards. They're really special moments in the set, and of course we had to do this for Sothera as the gravitational center of this whole story and world that we've created.
So this is the Japanese showcase card, but there's also the Singularity Foil Headliner card, which we can bring up now. But I will say that this version, as spectacular as it is, Sarah, it doesn't come close.
No.
This static image on a screen doesn't come close to representing what this card actually looks like and in real life.
Yeah.
So we've got a great pains here to represent to you, the faithful audience out there, what this card actually will look like when you get your hands on it. Sarah.
Yeah, so we did so much testing to make this card. We used a new substrate called a fractal lens, which has this incredible amount of dimensionality in it when the light hits it. And also, we hit that black hole in the middle with extra black ink, extra treatment, extra coatings, so that really when you're holding it, it feels like it's sucking the light out of the room and into the center of the card. And of course, we did this really cool special typography on the card. So when you hit this, when this comes out of your pack, you're going to feel that moment. It's a big one.
Keep an eye out for this one. So once again, all three versions of Sothera the Super Void up on the screen for you to have a look at here. Again, the Singularity Foil Headliner card, the Japanese showcase, and then the regular card there on the left. So keep an eye out for this headliner from Edge of Eternities. Very, very excited to see how this one comes out of those boosties. Speaking of boosties, Mike, I want to bring you in here to talk about the product lineup for Edge of Eternities and how people will be able to get their hands on these cards.
Yeah, absolutely. So upcoming here is the product lineup. Of course, we have play boosters and collector boosters, and then to experience the set for the first time, the pre-release and the bundle as well. And then we have 2 commander decks finally. Now we've been looking at a lot of these amazing treatments, and the Stellar Sights bonus sheet cards, you'll find those in 1 in 8 play boosters. They're only in Rare and Mythic. And then we have the alternate version in the collector booster, those Galaxy foils that we showed off. Those will be in the collector booster. And then, of course, those super high-end Sothera treatments as well. So a lot of awesomeness that we're doing here with the Edge of Eternities product lineup.
All right, excited to see these on shelves, but I want to zoom in particular on those commander decks you mentioned. Let's have a closer look at these commander decks, kicking things off here with our World Shaper deck. So this is the black, red, green, the Jund colors here. Mike, talk to us about this commander deck and what themes from the set that it encapsulates and harnesses.
Yeah, so this is the World Shaper deck. As you mentioned, black, red, green, and we're not going to see it today, but it is helmed by one of the 2 legendary cards you're going to get is a spacecraft, so that is going to play into it. And then as well as that, it really taps into a lot of those Jund themes, right? Sacrificing lands, growing in power as they come back. So it's a really fun deck for anybody who is big into those themes, and of course, playing with an amazing spacecraft, just top notch.
Well, let's have a look at the secondary commander here, Jaden. I'll bring you in to talk to us about the way that Zarel Genesis Shepherd exemplifies what this deck is all about. Looks like an absolute classic Jund card here.
Yeah, as a Jund aficionado, I am excited to play with this card. So the deck is about sacrificing lands. Zyrel here is going to let you play those lands again from your graveyard if you're a little nervous about sacrificing all your lands. You have an easy way to get them back into play, and it's going to pay you off for sacrificing anything, not just lands, with some +1/+1 counters for your creature. Really cool, really fun deck.
So keep an eye out for that. That's the World Shaper deck there in the Jund colors. But we've got the other one as well to show you briefly here, the Counter Intelligence deck. Now this is in the Jeskai colors, blue, red, white. Mike, what are the themes that are being shown off as part of this Commander deck here? We've got counters, we've got artifacts. What's going on?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Riley. You know, counterintelligence really taps into, you know, one of the things that discovery and you're in outer space. Of course, you're going to go to new worlds and find artifacts, and what magical and mystical powers do they have? So we really tap into that a lot here with the counterintelligence deck. That artifact matters theme.
And again, we can have a look at the secondary commander here. The primary commander is the primary commander is a spacecraft. We're not going to get to look at that one today, but the secondary commander is Kilo, Apogee Mind here. Now, this is a card that will reward you for playing with counters. Counter Intelligence, after all, is the name of the deck. Dean, we talked about the fact that there are ways to get charge counters onto spacecraft. Kilo is going to help us station our spacecraft.
Yeah, absolutely. Kilo is one of those ways. You can imagine you'll tap this 2 spacecraft in the deck, get your proliferate trigger, get your counters for your spacecraft charged up, maybe charge something else up. A lot of options here.
So these are the commander decks that you'll be able to snag as part of the Edge of Eternities product lineup here. But there are a couple of other short announcements I want to share with you when it comes to the Edge of Eternities release here, because we've got some new great ways for you to play with this set and beyond. Starting with Edge of Eternities, we'll be launching more specialized commander events at participating WPN game stores. These will be new ways to play, new ways to earn special promo cards as well. You may be familiar with events previously called Commander Party promos. Commander Party promo cards can be earned at eligible Commander play events, starting with Edge of Eternities. You can score your sweet promos regardless of your your preferred way to play Commander, so you'll be able to get your hands on these cards that way. But in addition to that, Commander Box League. I want to talk about this. Some may recognize the Commander Box League format from these events here, being at MagicCon, but these are being officially brought to in-store play. So, Commander Box Leagues will run during pre-release weeks. Great way to get to know a set with playing with in a sort of limited-like setting. You build a 60-card Commander deck out of the contents of a play booster box, and then you play games with it throughout the week. That's coming to in-store play with Edge of Eternities and beyond, so very exciting. But the other thing that I want to talk to you about is the two-headed giant Commander Night. This is the perfect way to introduce someone to Magic. It's a perfect on-ramp for a friend or an enemy or someone about whom you feel largely ambivalent that you want to get into Magic. Great way to introduce people to the game using the two-headed giant Commander format, 2v2. And these will be held as monthly casual Commander events, social multiplayer at its finest. So more details available in an article at magic.gg for you to read about some of these new ways to play with Edge of Eternities and the other sets that are going to come after that as well. In store, very excited to see these ones rolled out in stores everywhere. Anyway, that wraps up our Edge of Eternities portion of the preview panel. We've got plenty more stuff to show you, however, and I know that many of you here assembled are going to be very, very excited for what comes next, because some of you may remember at MagicCon Chicago, we teased an exciting close to 2025 when we talked about Magic the Gathering, The Last Airbender. Well, if you are as excited for this set as we are, and it sounds like there are some people who are very much looking forward to it, we've got something very exciting here to show you when it comes to Magic the Gathering, The Last Airbender. Turn your eyes to the screen and have a look at this video. Check it out. Well, have a look at that. There we go. All the Avatar: The Last Airbender fans out here in force. Jadine, what can you tell us about Avatar Aang and the iteration of this card?
Yeah, working on an Aang card for Magic is one of those things that if you told me I would have got to do that 10 years ago, I would have never believed you. Very cool. This is a particularly cryptic card for us to lead off on mechanically, so I hope you enjoy speculating until we're ready to share more. But we can see that fire bending, water bending, earth bending, and air bending are all going in to be in the set. Don't know what those mean yet, but if you do them, Aang is going to power up and transform. Very cool. Can't wait for everybody to see more.
Sarah, can you tell us a little bit more about this card from an artistic standpoint and how it came together?
Yeah, I mean, look at how beautiful it is. We had this incredible chance to collaborate with one of the original show creators, Brian Konietzko, and just such a treat to get this work in the set. And, you know, in a moment like this, we're not getting in his way. We just let him cook, and he gifts us with this beauty.
Well, this is a huge moment, of course. This card is just the first, a little teaser, a little taste of what's to come with Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mark your calendars for the first look coming on August the 12th on Twitch and YouTube. If you're attending San Diego Comic-Con, you'll be able to get your hands on a special promo card as well. But make sure you are around for that official first look, August the 12th, coming up not too far away. Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender. We can't wait. The other thing we can't wait for some of the older school fans of Magic the Gathering, I'm very excited to tell you about what is coming up in 2026. Because for the first set that will be released that year, on the 23rd of January in 2026, we are returning to an old and beloved plane, my friends. I know you'll be very, very pleased to hear that we are going back next year to Lorwyn. Lorwyn Eclipse, the first set for 2026. As I say, release date January 23rd. I will say we don't have any cards to show you from Lorwyn Eclipse just yet. We're not going to be looking at them today. But Mike, all the same, you can give us a brief, a high-level overview of what this set is going to be all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Lorwyn Eclipse, we are back to the land of day and night, right? And we're really tapping into that dual aspect part that we saw with Lorwyn and then Shadowmoor as well. And so, you know, we're really inspired here by the whimsical, there's the dark and the fantastical, and bringing that all together with Lorwyn Eclipse, and of course, revisiting those themes that made the set, you know, so fun to play with and has left us with so many iconic cards is really exciting. And of course, as we're going to see, we are going to show off a piece of art. It's just so visually stunning. It really is just so exciting to be back.
It has a really iconic feel. The artistic legacy of Lorwyn is something that's lived a very, very long time. Never mind the powerful cards that has come from it as well, Mike. So, Sarah, as we throw up these two pieces of art that we can look at here, can you talk to us again from a higher level? What was Lorwyn Eclipse all about from an artistic side?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful painting by Evan Fong. Here's a classic Lorwyn elf, right? We have the antlers that we know, but they're living in this more interesting kind of space in this set, or newer space for them. They're less judgmental, maybe a little less haughty. You know, we're excited to show them in this new way.
And we've got another piece here to show you. This is by the inestimable Mark Poole. Art by Mark Poole. Sarah, another stunning piece here showing off this beloved plane.
Yeah, this is showing you in this set how Lorwyn and Shadowmoor are kind of present much more closely to each other, and what is that going to mean? How is that going to wreak havoc? How is that going to create these like magical moments? You can see Shadowmoor and Lorwyn kind of combining and creating this like twilight space in between. I didn't say twilight zone. Twilight space in between.
Kind of a zone, sort of a twilight zone.
Twilight. I was trying to avoid it. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of work by Mark Poole, and we can't wait to show you the rest of the art that was created for the set. We had so much fun going back to Lorwyn.
Yep, keep an eye out for that. That's coming up later on, of course, when we're ready to show you some cards from Lorwyn Eclipse. I'm sure you'll be very, very excited to see them. Got another set to announce here very briefly. We're going to have to start whizzing through stuff because we've still got a lot to cover here. Very quickly, you'll understand why we're not going to talk about this set too much more here. We've got the name to share with you and not much more because it's a secret. As we head into 2026, we will be going back to another plane that we've been to before. My friends, next year, we'll be heading back to Strixhaven for the secrets of Strixhaven. So, again, just a little teaser. We don't have too much more to tell you about that just yet, but I know many people will be very, very happy to see us go back to Strixhaven and discover some of its secrets. Okie dokes. Roy, I turn to you now to talk to us about something else that's coming up. Very, very exciting. Looking forward to this a huge amount. What can you tell us about Magic the Gathering collaborating with Dark Horse Comics?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about that. Yeah, so for those of you who haven't heard, Magic is partnering up with Dark Horse Comics of many comics I love.
I was going to say, really,
a lot of
see
them.
which one you pick.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And we're doing a series that we're calling Untold Stories, which the idea is, Magic has had this long and continuous story over much of its history, but there are gaps in canon where we never got to tell the story from that you can see on the cards brought to fiction or comics or video or anything like that. And Dark Horse, like the people we've been working with, they are huge Magic fans, so they were super excited to bring some of those stories to life in comic book form. And I think people are going to be really excited about the first story that we're doing. It is, can we get some of those covers on screen? Yeah, we're doing Theros Beyond Death. We're doing Elspeth's journey out of the underworld, her escape from death. Issue 1 is going to be available September 10th. So it's currently available for pre-order. You can put in those orders at your local comic book shop. And it will be available in time for Atlanta. So you'll be able to, bring your copies, get them signed here. It's written by some real heavyweights, too. Dan Waters, it's illustrated by Owen Gianni, colored by Hillary Jenkins, and lettered by Clayton Cowles. Here on screen, you see some of the, you guys are getting a first look ever at some of the interiors that we're looking at for this comic. Here are the inked versions. Obviously, these are going to be colored and lettered and, really brought to life in the final version, but you can get a sense from just how the illustrations are going, how exciting this is, and like how, I just can't wait. We do have one more reveal, actually, if I may. Can we get the issue 2 cover on screen? Hell yeah. So here we have, while Owen Gianni is doing the kind of base version, the standard covers, we are also going to have alternate covers done by Magic artists, like this one here done by our own Magali Villeneuve, and the issue 3 cover done by our own Kieran Yanner. Yeah, check that out. So make sure to collect those, bring them to Art of Magic, get them signed once they're out. They are not currently available for pre-order, but they will be soon, so stay tuned.
Keep your eye on that. And for Magic fans, comic fans around the world, very, very exciting development here. Dark Horse Comics collaborating with MTG to bring the story of Elspeth conquering death to the world. Finally, one last thing I want to talk about with the panel here, specifically with you, Jadine, and Mike, is a brand new, well, slightly, I guess, a new way to draft. This is something that's been in the works for quite a while, I understand, in the building at Wizards, and it's something I know that many people all around the world, fans of this game, are going to really, really enjoy getting into. Jadine, can you introduce us to this new way to draft, Pick 2 Draft?
Yeah, so Pick 2 Draft is an alternative draft experience. Our normal booster draft is really popular and not going anywhere, but sometimes you want something a little faster to get going, faster to get into the games, and that's where Pick 2 Draft shines. So it's draft as you know it with 2 big rules changes. The first one is right in the name. You're going to pick 2 cards every time you get past a pack. So you're going to open a pack of cards, look at them, take 2 of them, and ship them to your neighbor on your left. Picking 2 cards at a time lets you kind of have more certainty in the synergies you'll have access to and let you pick combinations of cards that'll work really well together. The other big rule change is that this is a 4-player pod. With picking 2 cards at a time, you don't need 8 players. You can sit down and play with just 4, and this experience is very much designed with that in mind. It's really fast-paced, and it's a lot of fun. Isn't that right, Mike?
Oh yeah, Limited's my favorite format in Draft, especially. And one of the things I really love about Pick 2 is, with it only being 4 players, it's just easier to get a draft going, right? You can, Friday night, your commander group, go try out the new set with a quick Pick 2 draft. And when we've been playing it, the fact that it is fast, drafting 2 cards, it really makes it a fun and enjoyable experience.
Again, we will underline the fact that this is not replacing traditional draft. It is not replacing the 8-player drafts that we've played and loved for so many years. It is in addition to that, but it is coming to Arena. The Pick 2 draft will be available on MTGA, so a lot of exciting developments coming when it comes to the world of Limited and Pick 2 draft. So thanks for sharing your perspectives on that. You can actually play, if you want to check out Pick 2 draft yourself this weekend. I believe that there will be Pick 2 draft events held at Creator Central. You'll have to check the exact details of that. The MagicCon app will have you sorted there. But as far as I know, there will actually be opportunities to play Pick 2 draft this weekend. Or, I mean, just do it yourself, right? Like, you just need booster packs and 3 other people. So, I'm sure you'll figure it out. Anyway, excited for that, my friends. That is going to do it for our panelists up here. Will you please, out there in the audience, put your hands once again together for our 3 panelists here. I'll let you make your way off the stage over here. Once again, our 4 panelists walking us through all of this stuff here. Thank you so much to all of them. But the preview panel isn't quite over yet. So don't go anywhere just yet, because joining me on the stage is a very, very special guest for one last round of announcements here. This is someone who has played Magic for decades. 30 years this bloke has been slinging cardboard, and he joins me on stage to share some very special and exciting news that is coming up in Magic's future. My friends, please welcome to the stage, put your hands together for the president of Wizards of the Coast. It's John Haidt, everyone.
Thank you.
John, welcome to MagicCon Las Vegas. We've got a huge crowd in, obviously very excited to be here. How has the MagicCon been for you so far?
This is amazing. Wow. What a crowd. I did check the temperature outside. It's 102. I don't want to pay this air conditioning bill. but man, there is one thing hotter than what's going on out there, and that's Magic the Gathering. It's on fire because of all of you.
John, I'm gonna let you get on with your announcement. I'm gonna head back over here, but mate, the stage is all yours.
It's such an incredible experience for me to be here now. Yes, my journey with Magic started 30 years ago, literally in 1995. I was down in Orange County, and my wife and I, and she's actually here today, Julie. She and I learned how to play Magic together. And we walked into a store in Orange County, and this fella named Scott Larrabee sold us some cards. And it's so cool. If you don't know Scott, he's running a lot of the stuff that's gone on here today. But he ran tournaments, and Julie and I played together and screwed up the rules. So if some of you are learning Magic today, it's okay. You will get there. It's such an incredible game, and it's kept our family together. And it's an amazing experience for me to be here now and talking to all of you. I had no idea 30 years ago that could be a reality. So, I think what was amazing for us about Magic then is true today. It's so unique as a game. It blends strategy, it blends storytelling, and just beauty, right? Every card is a little canvas that transports us to fantastic worlds made by, amazing artists and really clever designers. I mean, that reveal that we just had for Edge of Eternities, how crazy is that? A spaceship, right? A spaceship that can go out and find legendary creatures for you and then turn them indestructible. And you match that to the creativity of a team that also, don't forget, last year was giving us all kinds of little field animals that would go to battle with each other, flickering frogs and squirrels. And only Magic can allow you to go to all these different worlds in a system that we can all enjoy together. So part of why I'm up here, and probably the only reason I'm up here, is to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen next year. So it's my pleasure to reveal to you that we're going to have MagicCon in 3 epic cities. And the team's put together a cool little video to show all of you, to tell you where they're going to be. So let's roll the video. You okay? How about that? So we're coming back to Amsterdam and Vegas, of course, and Atlanta. I just want to thank all of you. This is the gathering, right? This is what makes it such a special game. All of you coming together in events like this. And I want you to know that I am ever, ever mindful and grateful that we, and myself in particular, can be the caretakers of a game that is yours. You make this Magic. It's all of you and the community and you supporting us for all these years that have made this special. So thank you so much, and have a great time at MagicCon.
John Hyde, everybody, put your hands together for the president of Wizards of the Coast. That is that for our preview panel. Thank you for being here. We've got plenty more stuff coming at the Manor stage across the weekend. Looking forward to having your company throughout the rest of MagicCon Las Vegas. But for now, that's it from us here. We'll see you back here on the Manor stage before very long. Thank you very much.